you're going to keep thinking that it's not going to be all right, and it's going to be all right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Who's Joe YouTube Edition.
Who's Joe?
Who's Joe?
Who's Joe?
It happens to all of us when we talk about The Rock.
Let your meat rest, and then you have to get them to answer emails, which, as you know, can be very, very difficult. You have a condition.
Today, I am here with the world-renowned streamer, Paul Action Jaxon. And why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself?
Hello. Hi. I am world-renowned, obviously. Everyone knows that. I don't know. I mean, it's when everyone knows you in the world, it's like, what do you even say? You know, there's nothing really I could say that people don't already know about me. I mean, I guess I'm Paul. That's the first name. That's easy enough. I stream on Twitch, make videos for YouTube. I dance for TikTok. I tweet ridiculous things on Twitter, and I try to take pictures of my butt for Instagram. So I pretty much do the whole thing of content creation. You know, I kind of just dabble in it all. So, but yeah, that's who I am. It's what I do. And you already knew that because I'm world renowned.
Exactly. And before we get into the staring contest portion, I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How much of a travesty was the voting in Fight Night this week?
Yeah, you know, unbelievable. I mean, really, if you're going to try to swing a vote, you throw in like a third random Green Party member who's just going to like skew all the numbers. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed with the whole process. That's all.
I blame it on the Chad.
Was it the Chad?
Chad. Chad. Yeah. It's really Chelsea's fault when you think about it, but we'll leave her out of it for now. She was a guest here as well, right?
She was.
I'm sure she was awful. Yeah.
She was another person to lose to me, and she actually called you out at the end of her video.
Did she really? Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
So we're going to go to our typical first question is I'm going to ask you if you could collaborate with anybody in the world on anything, who would it be?
Yeah.
I'm going to count us down from 5, and then we will start the staring contest when you start answering. Does that work for you?
Okay.
All right.
That works for me.
So,
all right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So, wow, how are my eyes already hurting? That doesn't make any sense. What? That I gotta redo. I don't know what just happened to my eyes. That's something.
Take another shot at it.
We're gonna take one more shot. That was like 5 seconds. That's the most embarrassing thing ever. All right, here we go. My eyes are watering. What is happening? That's the weird. I feel like this is a psychological game. There's some sort of element to this I'm not understanding. All right, I'm ready to go. Countdown again. Leave my eyes open this time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. If I could collaborate with anyone, it would probably be The Rock. I feel like he's like one of the coolest. He's he's world renowned. He's got a lot going on. He's also just like, he seems like a nice guy. Like, I'm sure he is a nice guy. I'm not saying that because I think that like he's a bad person. I'm just saying that like you can kind of have that whole dang it, and I blinked. Wow, that really was that quick. That was. What are you looking at? There's no way you're looking at a camera. Is it just like, what are you looking at right now?
I'm looking at my camera with a ring light behind it.
It's unbelievable. How's that happening? I feel like I was just looking fine, and all of a sudden I talked about The Rock and I couldn't hold it together.
It happens to all of us when we talk about The Rock.
That's amazing. Just through 35-0 now?
Yes.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, I mean, like I was saying before I lost the staring contest. Damn it. Yeah, The Rock seems like a really nice guy. Like he's a good businessman. He would have a lot of ideas. And I don't know. He's like the only guy I feel like I'd be like kind of starstruck about. I usually don't get too excited when I see celebrities or whatever, I would get pretty jacked to work with him and just to hang out with him as well would be fun. So probably The Rock.
All right, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. If you smell what Action Jackson is cooking, then you should do some work with him because he's an amazing guy, and I'd like to see it happen.
Thanks, man. That'd be a dream come true. That'd be amazing.
Alrighty, so for those of you who have watched my previous videos, you know at this point that I'm going to attempt to go the rest of the interview without blinking as well.
What the heck? It's incredible. You have a condition. There's no way. No human being just goes into the... No.
So the next question is obviously you're in upstate New York.
Yes.
Best upstate wings. LD's Ale House, the Elbow Room, Scrubbers, or Atomic Wings?
I mean... Those are all fine. They're all fine. Those are fine. The thing is with... I'm not addressing your question because I obviously there's like a hierarchy there, but it's like pizza in New York City. It's like it's good everywhere. Like there's really not, you're not going to find like really bad wings, and then it's going to come down to the thing that's usually closest to you and that you prefer. So there's actually a place in Syracuse called OIP, or Original Italian Wings, or Original Italian Pizza, and their wings are the best. I love those things so much. So it's like, you could have like your anchor bars and your this and it's whatever's good by you. It's like saying who's got the best cheesesteak in Philly. It's like whatever gas station is closest.
My dad was actually born in Buffalo, but I haven't been up in that area since.
Oh, wow.
In probably 20 years.
Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been there that recently either. I actually went a while ago for like a LAN party, but the wings were pretty freaking good. They're pretty good.
The last time I was in Buffalo, Niagara Falls was frozen.
Really? I didn't know that it froze. That's a thing? Niagara Falls can freeze?
It can. And this will actually show you how long it's been. We went for a Buffalo Bills playoff game, and it was that third year in the early 90s where they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Wow. That's a long time ago, Joe.
Yes.
That's, my gosh.
I'm old, Paul. I'm old.
Back in the Ice Age when the Niagara Falls was frozen, we had wings. They were new then.
Just finding chickens for the first time.
Exactly.
Now, I watch your stream. I enjoy watching your stream. And one thing you've mentioned within the past few weeks is that you're planning on starting to do some outdoor content, outdoor type streams. How do you plan on incorporating that into what you do regularly?
Oh man, that's the question, right? Actually, that I've been asking myself. Since things kind of change in our house in summertime because my wife is a teacher, and when she is out of school, it's kind of like a new era begins at our house. There's like a whole bunch of time that she has now and different things she wants to do. And by definition, then I have more time. So I'm looking to incorporate it with her, probably specifically, but planning out when it's going to be. We just kind of started this new thing called Tears Tuesdays on stream where she comes on. Her name is Tirza, and we call her Tears. And Tuesday mornings are hers/ours. We play games, and that's where I'm thinking we can incorporate the cooking. So I'd like to do some outdoor streams, not far, like 10 feet from my house so I don't lose Wi-Fi, or I might even run a cable. That'll look good.
Well, that actually kind of feeds perfectly into the next question. Is what do you consider the proper way to cook a Tomahawk steak?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's only one way to cook a Tomahawk steak. That's at about 275 until your internal temperature hits about 130. Right? You're slow cooking that thing. You pop that baby off, 130, let it rest, let your meat rest. You know what I mean? Give it 10, 15 minutes. Just, I know you're hungry, eat some chips, let it sit there and think about what it's done. once it's out of timeout and once it's thought about it, sear the hell out of that thing. You crank up your grill to like 700 degrees or your cast iron. Bang, 30 seconds off, 30 seconds off, dig right in. I mean, that's the only way to eat it.
So tell me about Highpass. How do you envision bridging the gap between the music industry and content creation?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of already been started, which is helpful. You know, you don't have to be the first one to the party, but hopefully we provide a good enough product where we're one of the best options there at the party. But that has been kind of brewing, I feel like, ever since the first round of DMCA, which was like a couple of years ago, where they really got on people for playing music on stream. Twitch, that is, and they sent out these emails to like streamers early on, and they were like, you know, stop it, and we're like, nah,
that's not going to happen.
So we kept doing it for like a couple years after that, and then I think most recently, I can't remember exactly. It was like right in the middle of the early days of the pandemic, so it was like, I don't know, I think it was May or June, and it was like, I think it was actually June, because I'm like, there's enough going on right now with like COVID and racial injustice that I got to worry about getting my whole channel taken from me overnight, right? Like the government's just going to shut it down. So yeah, that was a stressful time. But anyway, so that kind of prompted us a bit more to start this DMCA free music. I think Harris Heller is probably the most well known, right? DMCA free, like stream beats producer, and we thought he does a pretty good job of marketing it, but we think we can make better music. So we were like, let's give it a shot. Like, it's not gonna, we have producers. PM is the producer of Highpass. He's in chat all the time. His name's it's PM Peter, and he is like an obviously very talented producer, can make a beat in like two minutes. And then his brothers are producers, and then he has friends who is producers. He's like, look, I have a backlog of like hundreds of songs. We could at least get started with this. And we were like, that sounds good. Like, let's try it. So as far as bridging the gap, I feel like that's kind of already been done with us, with just the government kind of being like, hey, gamers can't listen to popular music and stream. Once the government's kind of telling you that you can't do something, there should be people trying to solve that problem. So thankfully we didn't have to do it, but I think that we provide a pretty good product where there are other options, but as high quality as we do it and as free as we do it, right? Like, there's no subscription. I think we're the best.
Now, I know on your stream that you play Tarkov and that you play Apex, but I want you to dig back in those memory banks for me and tell me, what was the first game you remember falling in love with?
Oh man, the first game I remember falling in love with was almost certainly, I'm just trying to be sure of this, I'm pretty sure I know, but Super Mario World. That was my first ever game, so that's definitely the one I fell in love with. I mean, just playing that game, I remember when I could finally play it, like I had the hand-eye coordination, because I remember seeing my brother play it, and like I don't know, like he wouldn't let me, or I don't know, he was being weird. He's being an older brother and like would kick me off a couch or something. But once I finally got to play it, I mean, beat that thing backwards and forwards 10 different times before I even knew the other games existed. Like, I played that game so much that I didn't even realize that there were like other options for games. And then my cousin came over and like dumped a freaking cartridge, like container full. I was like, there's other games? I thought it was just Mario. But yeah, that was the first one I ever just absolutely fell in love with and held a special place in my heart.
How do you go about finding your guests for May Contain Action? What's your process there?
So that's a great question. That's probably our weakest link, to be honest, is the guest acquisition, because it can be tough. Like, as you know, like when you are kind of developing a name for yourself as a podcast, you kind of have to start small or work with no guest, or, you know, just kind of like make it a little bit more. One, you want to know what you're doing, And so we've been trying to figure out what we're doing as a pod. Like we've been trying to figure like, what's our point? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? And I think actually once you kind of figure out why you're doing and what you're doing, it's actually easier to get guests because you don't have to get the, I don't have to get like Ninja on the podcast because just having a high profile person isn't like the point necessarily of what we're doing. It'd be great, but we are kind of focusing more on other things. So all that to kind of say like finding a guest is definitely the hardest part, I feel like, of a podcast. But also knowing why that guest is on your own podcast. Like you have to convince your like listeners why they're on the pod. Then you have to figure out why they're on the pod. And then you have to get them to answer emails, which, as you know, can be very, very difficult.
If you could go back to your 15-year-old self, knowing the information you have now, what would be the one thing you would say?
Break up with Ellie. She's not worth it, man. Like you're gonna, oh God, the heartache you're gonna experience. Just break up with her now. Get over it. No, that's not really gonna help me that much. No, I would say, tell myself one thing. I really feel like I would tell myself that like you're gonna keep thinking that it's not gonna be all right, and it's gonna be all right. Like you're gonna keep telling yourself that you're not gonna have anything next week, or like, you know, you're not gonna have a place to live, or money's gonna dry up. You're always gonna assume that worse is to come, and it never is. It always gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better.
What's your favorite streaming moment you've had while streaming? Do you have one?
Favorite streaming moment while streaming? You know, there have been a lot of good moments for very different reasons. Like I've had people in chat just like be super open and honest about things that have been like really like emotional or impactful. It's been amazing. I got partnered live on stream. That was amazing. Man, I don't know. It was I've had a lot of really cool moments. It's kind of hard to say like which one is the best. I love whenever like we break a goal and raise more money than I ever anticipate we would for charity. That's always amazing. Yeah, it's really hard to pick a moment. I would say that probably the most impactful moments, the ones I remember the most, are usually the ones that involve like a particular member of stream, you know, expressing something that they've overcome, or that we've been kind of following, like almost like some sort of a drama that we've been following with their life. Not drama in like a who's talking about who, but just like a life story, and we're kind of following with them, and then they overcome it or something happens of it. Those are always really amazing. So I would say like community-based events are usually really, really impactful, and like getting partnered live on stream is amazing, but like that only affects me. Like that's not like a community thing. So yeah, probably those moments are so fun.
You're a streamer. You've got Crown Channel. You've got the podcast. You're going into YouTube now. What 5 years from now, where do you see yourself being as a creator?
Ooh, 5 years. God, that is a terrifying thought. I live my life a quarter mile at a time, so it's really hard to know. I would like to be, I think in 5 years, I'd like to be really invested and seeing returns on the podcast, because I really, really enjoy the pod. I enjoy long form conversation. I think people are really interesting, and I think that it lends well to my personality. So if the podcast could even outgrow me, I'd be so happy about that. Like that'd be a dream come true. If we could just have this podcast that's just bigger than myself, bigger than Trevor. That'd be great. So I in 5 years, I'm really trying to invest in the pod, and then hopefully, as well as doing the podcast, I'm hosting. I would love to be a G4 host. I think that'd be great. Some sort of show, or you know, whatever. That would be awesome. So if I can have those two things in 5 years, and then obviously still stream, but then stream becomes more like a, hey guys, I'm going live. Like, want to come hang out? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I see myself in 5 years. An established podcaster, with my buddy Trevor, hosting a show on G4, the channel I grew up watching as a kid. That'd be amazing.
I guess we've hit the point in the video where I'm going to get you to say I was not able to beat Joe in a staring contest.
I was not able to beat Joe in a staring contest.
So one thing I do at this point in the video is I am going to get you to call out somebody else to be on the other end and be in a staring contest with me.
Okay. So I've been thinking about this. I feel like there's some really, really good options here. I'm going to say I would like to give a shout out to Ray Apollo specifically, because he is one of my favorite people on earth. He's like blowing up on the Twitch staff scene, and he's freaking doing work. Ray Apollo is, and he's got a pretty serious stare, and I feel like he might be competition. I don't know about like an hour, but he might actually be someone who could do it. So I would say Ray Apollo. He's an awesome dude.
Alrighty, well, one thing I've been doing since I interviewed B-Wine, I interviewed the Bobby Lobby, I interviewed Chelsea Bites, I interviewed Red, and one thing I've started doing is, since no one person has really been able to give me much of a challenge, I've started doing videos where I'm going up against whole groups of people.
Really?
So I recently posted a video where I went up against 8 independent wrestlers back to back.
Really?
Beat all of them.
Jeez.
And in my video with all the other people from Chasing Crown and Crown channel, I made a challenge, and I'm going to continue that challenge in this video, and that I'm challenging the entire Crown channel team to a gauntlet staring match. So basically, line you up in Discord. When one of you blinks, the next comes up. When the next one blinks, the next person comes up, until either all of y'all blink or I do.
Wow. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, are you like, are you prepared to, I mean, that's a lot of people. That could be a while. I don't know. That could be a couple hours. And we get a chance to like break. You don't?
Yes.
All right. I mean, pretty bold. You're pretty wild, Joe, but I don't know if you can do all that. That's a lot.
So what do you have going on? What do you have to talk about? What do you have to plug?
So, well, as kind of mentioned earlier in the podcast, Tears Tuesday is going to be a thing that I'm excited about. So every Tuesday, I'm going to get Tears more involved, which is very exciting. I think I've actually noticed as I stream over the years, the more I get Tears involved, like the more fun I have, and or the community responds to it. And it's kind of fun. So, looking forward to Tears Tuesdays. Second YouTube channel. It is More Action Jaxon, aptly named. And it's going to have all that content on there. So all the tiers of content, and as well as couple stuff and random games and all this other stuff. So second YouTube channel is up, and we're finally in the talks for some merch. So hopefully that'll happen here soon.
Alrighty, well, that's going to be it for another episode of Who's Joe YouTube Edition. If you haven't already liked the video, go ahead and do that. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. I'm going to put the information for your Twitch channel, for May Contain Action, for both of your YouTube channels in the video description. Go ahead, follow all of them, subscribe to all of them. We'll just kind of sit here and stare at you until you do.
Oh.
There will be one video down here at the bottom left that I've recommended, one video down here at the bottom right that YouTube has recommended. Watch one of them, watch both of them, go back, binge watch all of Paul's videos, and we will see you the next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.